Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Taylor and
Colleen.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, the ring light. I was just like,
Sorry.
wait. No, you're good. And we're on episode 14.
Exciting.
I know. It just keeps going up.
It's like numbers.
I know. Crazy. Who knew?
Who knew? They just
wonder
get
what
bigger.
next episode's gonna be. Just kidding.
Oh.
So last night I went to a sound healing. I was gonna tell you when you came over, but I was like, I'll just wait till you record it because it was so good. You have to come with me next time.
I know. I've been to one with you. Right? Oh, no, that wasn't a sound healing.
No, that was just a
that was like
hypnosis, guided meditation. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was followed with some kind of restorative yoga,
Mm-hmm.
which was really cool too.
That was really cool.
This is different.
Okay, tell me.
So I've been to a lot of different sound healings, and if you don't know what a sound healing is, it's the crystal bowls, and they all play different frequencies, which you'll feel in your body, like the different vibrations, which is already really cool. But this one I've been to a few times, and they're like not like any other sound healing I've been to. They both sing like beautifully.
Oh my god.
Like they have it's crazy. And they also they sound so similar too, so I feel like their voices just naturally go together, and they make their own music and then include the singing bowls, and it's just like a really magical experience. So
that's amazing. How did you feel afterwards?
Really good. I always feel really good after theirs, but so one of them does it once a month. But then, like, the two of them together don't do it that often anymore. But next time they do, I will definitely let you know. Yeah, and I'll remind you, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, you texted me, and then I forgot to respond.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I throw it out there, but also I feel like you're not always, like, down for that kind of stuff, which is okay. I know you don't love yoga, so yeah, okay, I kind of forced you to go to that, and I was like happy you did.
Am I unsupportive?
No. You know how like, well, some people are just like not into certain things, and so I'm like, if she doesn't want to go, I'm not offended. It's just not her thing. But this one you have to go next time.
I fall asleep really easily, so that's what I just would want to go in the mindset to get the most out of it. You know what I mean?
Well, you're like totally allowed to fall asleep. Like I heard someone snoring. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
They'll like, she says in the beginning, like, because it's normal for people to fall asleep during those. But if you start making like too many noises, she says your own vibrations, which I thought was really funny. She says she'll just like squeeze your shoulder, just be like,
kind of like, nicely like wake you up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So it was really good for was last night Wednesday?
It doesn't matter. We're in the time machine.
Okay, it was a weeknight, so I feel like it was really nice for a weeknight because it's just like we work all day, and then it's just like nice and relaxing. So yeah, that was my night.
That's amazing. Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, it was super relaxing.
Do you sleep really good the night after you do something like that?
I feel like I do. Yeah. I just feel relaxed. I feel it's weird. It's like a mix between relaxed and energized, if that makes sense. Okay. I was like, does that make sense?
It does. It's like you're kind of like,
just feel like good.
Yeah.
Like good energy. Yeah. But yeah, no, I do feel like I sleep a lot better doing those. So
probably a good distressor too.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely feel like stuff kind of like energetically moving around your body. Like you'll feel like tingly. Like I feel like I remember when I did a Reiki session, I've only ever done one, and I remember strongly feeling like something in my throat, and I was just like felt like something needed to get out. But and that's the only way I can describe it. And I kind of felt that, and I was like, I wonder if that's just like them like moving energy, like with the frequencies of like the vibrations and stuff like that. And I know that sounds a little out there, but I mean, it's been like proven like to do that. Yeah.
No, I 100% think that's what it was. I mean, that's like what they do with the, like any sort of like massage or something. It's like, okay, like remember I was telling you like my friend was like doing like massage and working on my back, I want to say at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, your back problems are actually coming, like your whole body works together.
Yeah.
So like, that was kind of off topic actually, but you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't think like your earlobe would be connected to like your left shoulder or something.
Yeah.
And that was
like acupuncture too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I remember, she was, when I did acupuncture, like she would specifically put one, it was somewhere on, the placement was on my arm, but it was connected to my liver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, whatever works.
Heal me up, baby.
Yeah. Poke me wherever you need to. Also, they didn't do this in this sound healing, but sometimes like they'll play a bowl on your body, and that feels so cool.
I would be so down for that. That probably feels amazing.
I know. I wish they did that, but that was in like one my friend used to do. Because she used to have her own classes in Scottsdale, and she would play one like, because you'd be laying straight and flat on the ground, like kind of like your shins. She'd put one there, and I feel like that one felt like the coolest because you could feel like the vibration go from like your feet all the way up your body.
Yeah.
Then she'd do one like on your heart, which I feel like that one was kind of hard because of like, I don't know, like back. But anyway, just a great experience.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. But anyway, have you been up to anything since I last seen you?
No, not really. I had to go to some like offsite stuff today for work, and then people were mean to me. Not my work people. I love the people that I work with.
Okay.
But I hate driving, and I know I'm a bad driver. I own it. Like, I get it. I deserve the honks, the fingers and everything that I get. I am a bad driver. I'm slow. That is why I ride my bike everywhere. And today I had to...
And then people get mad when you ride your bike.
They do.
But it's not you, it's them.
Honestly, maybe it is me at this point.
No, it's not. It is them, 100%.
But so I had to drive, and I got honked at. And this car I was driving down, like, it's a 2-lane road, but it's like one way on one side, one way on the other.
Mm-hmm. And
this car like swerved around me, and then it got to the green light and like stopped just to be a jerk. And I was like, I mean, I deserve the honking. I don't deserve this. Like, now,
that's aggressive.
Yeah, like you were so speedy before, like getting around me, and now you're wasting your own time. Like,
I feel like that's when it freaks me out a little bit, though, is because like if they're that like it upset them that much, they're gonna really go out of their way to do that. It's like, okay, you're a little crazy.
And I looked at my like speed too, and I was going the speed limit.
Yeah. And screw like, them, it's their fault.
Thanks. But yeah, that was my day.
Oh no.
I texted Tayler. I was like, people have been really mean to me today.
I was like, wait, what did I say?
He said, do I need to kill somebody?
Oh yeah. And you're like, no, well, they can live.
Yeah.
All right then. I guess I'll let it slide.
I appreciate the backing up, but
always.
And then because we had to go, we were going to like different studios. I don't do sales. I'm in marketing, but we wanted to go to like drop into studios to talk to the owners.
Mm-hmm.
And just get some like market
like workout studios.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is probably boring, but dropping in. I was gonna say dropping in on people. I couldn't cold call every day if this is how people treat you.
I could never do any kind of sales. I'm not a salesperson. I don't have a sales personality. I could not sell you anything.
Yeah.
If anything, I'd probably end up spending money.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Honestly, there were some studios that we went to where I was like, I would take a class here. Like,
oh, you don't want to work with us? I'll work with you.
Yeah. But yeah, nothing exciting on my end, just that boring stuff. But
well, I am really excited to hear your story.
I am really excited to tell you it.
So we can get right into it. So then we can get through mine, because I can't wait to hear what yours is.
Okay. Well,
she's been hyping it up.
Okay, now I'm like nervous that I like hyped it up so much. And you're gonna be like,
no, I think I'm gonna like it.
Okay.
I feel like anytime you say that, I always like it.
Okay.
So today for my story, Colleen, I've got something to tell you.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking about Project Stargate.
What is
what
that?
that is?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, good. For some reason, I thought you were going to know. But well, maybe you will when I start talking about it.
I was going to say, I've also learned my lesson of being like, I think I know this one. And then I'm like, it wasn't.
Now you like play it cool. And you're like, I don't know it. You're like, I totally know it. So, okay. This takes place in the 1970s. Okay. The CIA was informed that the Soviet Union was testing psychotronic research and were getting results. The US decided to create their own program, going through a few different names before officially landing the name Stargate Project. And I said Project Stargate. Sorry.
Wait. Stargate Project?
Stargate Project.
Okay.
And I said
I don't think that matters.
I know, I don't think it matters either. So this is the U.S. Army's first psychic intelligence unit in Fort Meade, Maryland.
Cool.
The experiments they were conducting revolved around remote viewing. And if you don't know what that is, remote viewing is a paranormal ability to perceive information about a distant location, object, or event without using the five senses. It's often described as a form of extrasensory perception, or ESP.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so remote viewing, I feel like, can also be, in my opinion, it's a lot like astral projecting a little bit. So the project was overseen by it. It's Lieutenant. I put LT. That was stupid. I was like, by it.
The clown.
He's just holding the balloons.
He's like, get to
the story just keeps
stargazing.
getting weirder and more fake. Well, it's gonna get a little weird right here. So the project was overseen by Lieutenant Frederick Holmes till 1987, who was an aide to psychic headhunter Major General Albert Stubblebine. Such a weird last name. For some reason, I knew you were gonna say that.
I think it's cute.
Stubblebine. So Albert Stubblebine had a fascination with psychic warfare. This wasn't the only project he led that was introduced to paranormal experiments. And I'm just going to tell you about another one that he did, but this story isn't about that. But okay. I'm like, I have to put this in here because it's kind of funny. So this is in 1981. He also wanted to create a super soldier.
Okay.
Like Captain America. Cool. Who could potentially walk through walls, levitate, and disperse distant clouds with the mind.
Not so cool.
Due to controversy with his experiments, he took an early retirement in 1984. That part made me laugh because it's just like, they're like, come on, man. And at one point it said that he tried to also walk through walls but failed. And I just imagine what that looked like. He's like, again.
Hit me one more time.
I know. Why isn't it working?
He's like the Kool-Aid man.
I know. He just busts through the door.
He's like, I did
it. It works.
If you get a running start, it works.
He's like, document that right now and there that I did it.
Proven.
So Joseph McMoneagle, known as Remote... I know. And I hope I'm saying it right. It's Mick, M-O-N, Eagle. So I would think McMoneagle, right?
Yeah.
And we're just going to call him Joseph. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I want you to say it.
But for the first time, his name is Joseph McMoneagle. But now going forward, it's just Joseph.
Okay.
He was known as Remote Viewer Number 1. He grew up in a house surrounded by alcoholism, abuse, and poverty. And he said that he often had visions at night when he was afraid, and he believed that his psychic abilities protected him throughout his life. He joined the military when he was 18 years old to escape what was going on in his home. After being in the military for a while, he eventually joined the Stargate Project. He was the only remote viewer to work one-on-one with the out-of-body pioneer Robert Monroe. The first normal name. Robert Monroe wasn't a participant. He wasn't on the CIA's pay scale, but what am I trying to say? He wasn't paid
Payroll?
by this payroll, yeah. But his work was heavily influenced by the program. He founded the Monroe Institute in the 1970s, where out-of-body experiences and altered states of consciousness were researched, and he eventually created the hemi-sync technique, which was audio tracks that use binaural beats to synchronize brain hemispheres and induce altered states. And this was also used during the Stargate project.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because I didn't know he came up with that. Because that's like a big thing in like meditation is the binaural beats. But anyway. So Joseph described Robert as kind, humble, and profoundly wise, often referring to him as a key figure in his personal evolution. He said that he became a mentor and a spiritual guide in his life.
Hmm.
I know. So they connected in the 1980s, and Joseph being introduced to the Institute and to Robert Monroe to explore the tools that the Institute used in developing these abilities. After training with Robert, he became more grounded in the belief that 1, human consciousness could extend beyond the body. 2, psychic functioning wasn't a gift, but a trainable skill linked to specific altered states. And 3, reality is multidimensional, and exploring these realms can provide insight into both intelligence operations and the human soul. Monroe's focus level model and teachings helped Joseph refine his abilities, and he considered some of his deepest and most accurate sessions to be aided by the hemi-sync process. And just as a note, he had 3 focus levels. 1 was mind awake, body asleep. 2 was expanded awareness, and 3 was non-physical realities and interdimensional exploration. And by that, I feel like the first one means like pretty much what it says. Like, what's that other thing that we were talking about that freaked you out though?
I thought it was the.
It's before astral projection, but it's like sleep paralysis.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, what was it called?
You're like, what was that thing that scared you? That
I know. I knew you didn't like it. So yeah, like I feel like the first step is like that, like sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Your body's asleep, like solid, and then
but your mind is
awake.
working. Yeah.
And then maybe just like the awareness that that's going on, and then you're able to get up and explore. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about his remote viewing sessions with the CIA. And if I pronounce anything wrong, sorry. I was going to Google the names before because there was a lot of names in here. I was like, how do you say
that? Don't be sorry.
Okay, I won't. So the first one, the Soviet Typhoon class submarine in 1979. The objective was to identify a secret Soviet military project. Joseph described a massive submarine under construction at a shipyard in okay, this is somewhere in Russia.
Oh, good luck.
Severodvinsk. I feel like that sounded right.
Sound right.
I'm just kidding. Okay, well, look it up. Anyway, so that was during his remote viewing session. That's what he was looking for.
Okay.
And so he sees this massive submarine, and he's able to see it has like a double hull design, the number of missile launch tubes, and just unique features that it had. And he's describing this to them. So later on, this was confirmed by satellite imagery, and it turned out to be the Typhoon class, the largest submarine ever built. So his viewing was accurate. The second one, the 295 bomber crash site in Africa. The objective was to locate a downed Soviet bomber. Joseph provided geographical features and nearby landmarks. His data helped guide recovery efforts. His location was within a few miles of the actual crash site.
Whoa.
Yeah. So accurate again. Oh yeah. And another thing, remote viewing, they can view the present, the past, and into the future. And I think that's sometimes why it can be unreliable, because in the moment, it might not have happened yet.
Yeah.
So
how does that work? If you like, okay, probably a dumb question, but
no.
obviously, like you said that they can't, like if it hasn't happened yet, but does it change if like, because there's all these different variations of like
Mhm.
what could happen. Does it change? So they
Yeah.
would have to like go back in.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to like, and this, so remote viewing, or honestly like anything
Mhm.
psychic, future like seeing or whatever, there's always all these different timelines going on, and everyone has their own free will to decide the decisions they make every day. So timelines are always changing. So it might not be consistent, but it doesn't mean he was wrong. And I think that's
Yeah.
what eventually this gets shut down, because they're like saying it's unreliable and stuff. Because I mean, it can be, but it's also like it depends what you're looking for. So
Yeah.
what are you looking for? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Um and also I think sometimes too, it probably depends on like the skill of the person too, because I mean, I feel like I've known a few different people and I've that have like that ability, and
Mhm.
also have watched a lot of different things, and a lot of times they explain it as like some people can actually like see, but then some people are interpreting things. So like
Gotcha.
you can interpret something wrong too.
Yeah.
Um
Okay.
I don't know if I answered. I
No,
feel like I like went
no.
off on a
I was
tangent.
just curious about the future stuff because it, like, again, like it makes sense that you'd be able to kind of like go back and look at what
Mhm.
happened, but seeing like
Yeah, like the future would never be accurate like 100%,
100%.
because
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so they do an experiment in 1984 to remote view Mars a million years ago.
Whoa.
And they ask, so he's so okay, Mars approximately 1 million years ago. He says that he sees tall beings wearing robes, large pyramid type structures, and cataclysmic storms and planetary change. And then he believed what he was witnessing was the collapse of a Martian civilization. So
What?
wild.
That's nuts.
I
That's
know.
so cool.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they said Mars was the most like Earth, right? Like, don't they have like a
I feel like it's been like said that if there was going to be any life on another planet within our solar system, it would be Mars.
okay, that's what I thought
Don't
too.
come for me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. Like, obviously, like no one could live there now, but like I feel like I read something that at some point it was livable, but
Mhm.
then yeah. Um so he viewed the moon and other planets. He did several space targeted sessions where he described anomalies on the moon, saw artificial structures on Mars, and he said that he interacted telepathically with non-human intelligence. And as a note in here, they said these weren't considered like intelligence wins by the military, but it was more of like an experiment
Mhm.
and a collaboration with Robert Monroe at their institute, because that's what they do. They research that
Mhm.
stuff there. Um, with so he also had a lot of out of body and not he visited non-physical realms. So with Monroe's help, Joseph documented experiences where he left his body, traveled to the between lives state, met with non-physical beings, or they say helpers, which I don't know what that is. I didn't look into that. Um, and he just received profound personal and spiritual insight. And that was more just his personal
Yeah.
exploration. And then the Libyan chemical ship prediction. So the task was to identify covert chemical weapons transport. So when he was remote viewing, he described a ship named Potua, Potua,
Okay.
leaving, and this is where I don't know how to say this, but it's Tripoli, Tripoli.
Where's it located?
Libyan?
Oh.
Okay. I don't either. And that's the part I was like, I'll research that later. And then I forgot. So leaving that place with a chemical payload. Later they found a ship called it's like it sounds like potato, but with a V.
Potato.
Potato. It reminds me of potato. It's BATATO.
Sounds right.
Potato.
I like it.
But anyway, that ship left the route with unknown cargo. The alignment was close enough to draw interest. So pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So he was also kind of what we were talking about earlier. He was able to view future events. He claimed he could sometimes accurately describe near future events, though he noted that, and again, like what we were saying, free will and potential timelines made future viewing unreliable. But he said that he could see changes in global climate, technological advancements, and possible extraterrestrial contact. So, I mean, I would say that's all spot on.
Yeah.
And this was in the 70s, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah. I was thinking 70s, like, I feel like there was like a technical, like, kind of, I don't want to say boom, but you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when like the tech industry kind of like started kicking off.
In the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be.
And he was just, never mind. I'm not going to discredit.
But again, like, since our last episode, like, the extraterrestrial stuff was not something they really discussed.
Yeah, exactly. You were a kook if you...
He even, I forgot to write this, but he even acknowledges that, like anyone that kind of delved into this stuff was looked at weird, and, like, people were interested in it if they worked, but they didn't want to be associated with it. And so that was the vibe back then. But so the Stargate project was terminated and declassified in 1995 after a CIA report concluded that it was never useful in any intelligence operation, which I think is BS.
Yeah.
But, information provided by the program was vague and included irrelevant data, they said. And I said this earlier. I didn't realize I wrote it. The astral projecting and remote viewing are really similar.
I just love when you...
I jump ahead of myself.
No, it makes me laugh because I do the same thing where I like write my story and I read my story multiple times. And then you just like find little nuggets of like, oh yeah, I forgot I wrote that.
Yeah, I know. Because Molly's like, this is a good place to bring this up. But then I'm like, oh, I already brought that up later on. So I wanted to kind of get into one other quick story because I feel like there's a lot of like documentaries and like other stories where they talk about remote viewing with the government and like that kind of stuff. But also a lot of psychics actually work with police departments like today. And I thought you would like this because they work with search and rescue.
It's the e-cigarette lady from Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's really common.
What was her name? She was famous.
I don't remember, but she was
nuts.
Hilarious, though.
She was hilarious, but they had a whole show based around her. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I definitely pulled her up on YouTube, too, because I was like, where's she today?
Yeah. That's so cool. And maybe I'll do one, but never mind. Okay.
So I've actually, when I went with my mom to a medium and like when my grandpa passed away, because my mom wanted to try to connect, and she volunteered at the police department for search and rescue. But so they use like a similar technique. They tap into the person to try to see their surroundings. But unlike what they described earlier, it's not like they use all their senses. They're not just using the remote viewing. Like they're tapping into that person's body, seeing where they are. They could feel how they're feeling, if they're scared, if they're dehydrated, and if they can smell anything, like that kind of stuff. So I came across a while ago, a mother, daughter, they're psychic mediums and they're really cute. They have an Instagram together and they just do, the daughter makes reels of the mom every day about like her sessions. Because she's like a full-time medium. But they also have a YouTube and I found this story on there and I feel like you're gonna like,
I'm excited. Wait, what's their Instagram?
The Sarlos.
The Sarlos.
Sarlos.
I'm gonna look them up.
Yeah, you should. So they also volunteer with the police department. I don't know how often or if like they call them or how it works, but in this story they were working with the police department for search and rescue. So they tell a story about a young girl in Ontario, because that's where they're from, that went missing overnight. And also, as a side note, I don't know what the whole story was. I don't know if she was taken or anything like that. I was trying to find, because I found the video where they were talking about it, but I think there was another video where they actually described the entire situation.
Gotcha.
But so just kind of summing it up a little bit here. So Karen is the mom, and she stayed awake all night with the family members, and she was able to like remote view while she's fully awake. And she's on the phone with the search and rescue while they're like walking around all this terrain and stuff.
Oh my God.
And then her daughter, Kelly, goes to sleep and she goes in and out of sleep. And that's how she remote views through dreaming. So I thought that was really cool. So they're sitting side by side on the bed and they're just both doing the same thing, but like one's asleep and one's awake. So when Kelly would go to sleep, she would dream of being in the missing girl's body and she could see her surroundings. She could feel her feelings like mentally. Like I said earlier, if she had eaten or she was dehydrated. And like while she was in her body, she could feel like she was really thirsty, but then she saw water bottles there and that she was drinking it and she could feel like the thirst quench, like when she drank it. So that was really interesting too.
That's crazy.
And she explained that like while she's like kind of viewing from in her body, she could also pull herself out and get like an aerial view of the surroundings kind of to an extent. And she could see her like go into a building. She saw that it was like brick and that kind of like helps them like narrow it down and stuff. And then she could see that she was like treading through like all this terrain and that she couldn't see clearly till she got to this building. And so the girl was kind of like, she was really tired, but they needed her to like stay awake. And again, I wish I could remember what the situation was, but they were trying to keep her from going unconscious.
Yeah.
And she said that she started singing to the girl like a Katy Perry song.
Ew, okay. Ooh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know why Katy Perry. Maybe it just came to mind.
Yeah. Okay.
But
no. Yeah, I don't like Katy Perry.
But she was, when she met with the girl later, she said that she was singing it in her head to stay awake.
What song?
I don't remember. But it's crazy that she like confirmed it.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah,
this is how I stayed awake. And so they received this information through their intuition. But that was like pretty much the story of like the girl. But, and I know that was like kind of lacking a little bit of details.
No,
and maybe later on I could find it. And if I do, I'll link it in the show notes because it was a really crazy story. But yeah, so they explain that they receive this information through their intuition or their spirit guides. And sometimes they'll be told not to participate in missing person cases for a lot of different reasons. They say sometimes they're intuitively told who the murderer is, and or if it was an inside job by the police, which for their own protection, like their intuition's like, don't mess with that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes missing people don't want to be found. They go missing on purpose.
Oh,
okay. And then this one was kind of crazy too. So the mom, Karen, recalled a time someone called claiming to be the uncle of a missing person. And her intuition immediately said, no, it's not. And the guy was involved in the person who went missing. And she said like she was being kind of like intuitively told this, and her intuition was like telling her, and I guess this is kind of a form of remote viewing, but like while he was on the phone with her, he had these 2 little kids running around in the background, and she could describe exactly what they looked like. And her intuition was like, mention it. And she was like, why would I mention that? And it just kept telling her to mention it. And she was like, she didn't say exactly how she said it, but she basically said, I see like you have 2 little boys running around in the background. And he hung up immediately.
Was one of the kids the missing kid?
I don't know. But I think she was or it scared him that he was like, she could see me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I think he was trying to get details, because like, who knows what happened with the missing person. Like, I don't really know what he was trying to get out of that. But either way, it sounded like he was like up to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say that a lot with like people who are guilty. Like, obviously, like one of the things is like people that are guilty or have like committed a crime, like return to the scene of the crime, or like they follow the case really closely. And
it's weird because you would think that they would do the opposite.
It's because they're so scared. Like they are like, well, what do you guys know? You know what I mean? Like, well, what do you guys know? And I want to know what you guys know. Are you on to me? Like that kind of thing. So that's probably like you're saying. Like,
you're probably right.
Yeah. No, I am right.
Well, you're right. You are right. It adds up. Okay. Check.
No, I meant that as a joke. It came out way more aggressive.
No, I feel like, I mean, you are right.
Like, I'm like, no, that's what happens.
I read this stuff all the time. I know this is what it is. You can tell me like that.
Oh my God. Okay.
And just one last thing. So depending on like soul contracts, which we have talked about before, sometimes they also aren't the ones that are meant to find the missing person, and so they won't receive information. Sometimes it has to be like an EMT or a first responder, like whatever that person needs in their life. Like it's going to be life-changing for them to find this person, and life-changing in a good or a bad way. It just really depends. That's how they explain it. But yeah, so that's my story.
I sort of love that. Like it's meant to be. I mean, I don't like it that it would be sad, obviously, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like it's just like so cracking open.
He will do anything to get on this.
I know. He's just making all the noise out there.
Yeah, I feel like it reminds me of Jennifer Laurie.
Oh, yeah.
And the 911 operator. Like they've remained friends.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly like that. That's a good example. But
I really liked that. That was cool.
Okay, I just want to. Did it all go together?
Yeah, I was following.
Okay, good. But yeah, I know I love those stories. But do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Okay. We're back.
Back from our break. I was in between our stories. I was going to tell Tayler something, but then I was like, I'll wait. But I feel like you always do this. Like whatever your story is has something to do with the story that I'm going to do. Like, so this one has rough names.
Your story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're saying like our
we
stories
always like compliment each other. And like we don't tell each other. There's only been one time we've told each other our stories. Right? Yeah. Well, no, I didn't tell you mine, but you told me about the possession one time.
Yeah, I think you told me one of yours once, but I still didn't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way.
Okay.
Okay. So I have something to tell you. And I'm actually not usually a big fan of like historical crimes, but this one is nuts. And I'm really excited to tell you about it. So I'm just like I'm not even gonna tell you what it is. I'm just gonna straight up get into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So our story takes place in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. favorite way to describe a place. It is a quiet, rural area that's like all rolling hills, family farms, close-knit neighbors.
Mothman.
Yeah, it's in the Appalachians. Appalachians. I was so adamant about correcting you that one time.
Well, I just, like, I was going to say, and I still said it wrong. I said Appalachians. It's Appalachians. Or,
No.
what is it?
Appalachians.
Appalachians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's,
I wasn't correct either.
Throw an apple at you.
Appalachians.
Appalachians.
Okay.
Cool. Pronunciation corner over because I'm going to mess up some names now.
Can't wait.
But anyway, so Greenbrier County is place nothing bad is supposed to happen, but we all know small town shit goes down. So we're rewinding.
That should be on a shirt.
Merch.
Small town shit goes down.
Yeah. So I'm rewinding all the way to 1896.
Dang.
Yeah. We're getting real historical up in this bitch.
Like, how do you even... Never mind.
What?
It's like, how do you even murder back then? Did they have guns?
Fairly easily.
Okay.
Yeah. If anything, I would feel like there are murders happening all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Because it would be a lot harder to catch you.
That's true.
They don't have... I love that you're thinking about the side of like the logistics of how to murder, and I'm like, yeah, just grab something, hit him over the head.
Like, I guess they do that current day too. Yeah. So
there's a lot of tools. I can name 5 in this room that I can.
Like a wagon. I just think of like weird shit.
Okay. They have advanced in their murdering capabilities since 1896, but I rest assured that there was definitely murders happening. Okay, so 1896 and our main players. So first we have Elva Zona Heister.
Elva Zona?
It's 2 names. Elva Zona is her middle name.
Oh.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
It's different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like it.
Innovative for their time.
Yeah.
Elva Zona Heister, she's 23 years old, and she is really described as just being like beautiful and by all accounts like a lovely, vibrant person. Mm-hmm. She's kind of like, this is a dumb comparison, but you know how like in Beauty and the Beast, like Belle is kind of like everybody
the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of what came to mind when they were describing her, is everybody just really likes her, but she also has like doesn't like, she just cares about like other stuff. She's not like all about getting married or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Which changes, but just letting you know. Mm-hmm. She's described as very likable. And she grew up in Greenbrier County. So she's a local there. And she gets a job at a local shop, and she meets Erasmus Stribling Trout Shoe.
Is that a name?
That is his name.
I was like, shoe?
Shoe is spelled Shue. It's his last name.
Wait, what's the whole name again?
You're really gonna make me do it again. It is Erasmus, first name, Stribling, Trout.
Trout.
Yeah. And, okay, I'm glad you liked Trout because that's what he goes by, is Trout for short. Trout? He either goes by Edward, which I don't know where they got that from, but he goes by Edward or Trout, and I was like, I'm picking Trout. So that's what we're going to refer to him.
His name sounds like a bunch of like Scrabble words.
Literally just like tossed him on the floor and yeah.
That's your name.
Yeah. His parents hated him.
They sure did.
He came out and they were just like, screw this kid for the rest of his life. So we're gonna call him Trout. And then Elva Zona, she goes by her middle name Zona. So it's Trout and Zona.
Cute.
He said that real judgy, but okay. So Trout was a blacksmith, and he had recently moved to Greenbrier County, and he was described as charming and knew how to make an impression, which he made one especially on Zona. So the two met sometime in the summer of 1896, and it didn't take long for Trout to sweep Zona off of her feet. It was definitely a whirlwind romance because they ended up getting married just 2 weeks after meeting.
Dang.
Yeah. So she wasn't interested in anybody else, but Trout caught her.
Or the other way around.
Yeah. So
Trout was hooked.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Thank you. I feel like normally you have the good ones.
I was trying to think of something, but I couldn't on the spot. But yes, so she was hooked. But not everybody was charmed or hooked by Trout. Zona's mother, Mary Jane Heaster, our first normal name of the
that was amazing. I know you said that one real quick.
Yeah. So Mary Jane had her doubts from the beginning. She said there was said, as if we know, it was 1896. Nobody could record her. But there was something about Trout that she just didn't trust, and it didn't sit right with her. Maybe it was his name.
Something smelled fishy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So stupid.
Oh my God. So good. Okay. So Zona seemed happy, so Mary Jane kept her concerns to herself. But we're going to quickly fast forward. On the morning of January 23rd, 1897, a young boy was arrived at the Trout Zona shoe house. He was running an errand, and sometimes he would run errands for them, like he would go get them groceries. So he was stopping by to see if Zona needed anything from the store. But
almost, just from this story, sorry to cut you off, I almost forgot it was a true crime story.
Yeah.
So entertained by the names. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Something's gonna happen.
Murder's happening. So stop laughing at it.
Okay. Take it serious.
Okay, so the young boy who
young boy.
Yeah. So he's stopping by to see if Zona needs anything from the store, and he walks in to the Trout Zona shoe house, and he finds Zona's lifeless body lying at the foot of their stairs. It's stretched out in an unnatural way, and it has one arm lying on her stomach, and her head is tilted unnaturally to the side with blood coming out of her mouth. So, still funny? Just kidding.
Damn.
So he obviously panics and he runs home to tell his mom, and her mom calls the local doctor for help because they don't know if she's dead. All they know is that he's seen her body.
What the kids saw.
Yeah. And however, Trout got to the house first before the doctor showed up. And when the doctor shows up, Trout was acting strange. And he is acting like so over the top. He was hysterical. He's wailing. He's cradling Zona's body and refusing to let the doctor near her. He had also taken her body from the bottom of the stairs and brought it upstairs, and he had washed it. Sketch.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. So the doctor, who's Dr. Knapp, he tried to examine Zona, but Trout was again just being like so over the top, and he's being like so protective over her body. He won't let the doctor really close to her. However, Knapp noticed that there was faint bruising around Zona's neck, and then again with her neck, like the way her head was tilted when the boy found it, like when they move her, it kind of like wobbled. Like, yeah. So, however, with Trout being the drama king that he was acting like, Dr. Knapp didn't push any further, and he chalked her death up to an everlasting faint, which is 1890s talk for dead. It's just basically mean we have no idea what happened, but sounds official.
They
So
just call it faint?
they call it everlasting faint.
Oh.
Yeah. This is apparently very common in the 1800s.
She died of everlasting faint.
Yeah. She's just
She
long
just
nap.
fainted forever?
Yeah.
Is that what it means?
Yeah. Dead.
Oh.
Dead.
I like everlasting
It's a fancy way of saying dead.
Oh.
So now they have Death and they have to get Zona ready for the funeral. And Trout insists on dressing Zona himself. So normally the women, like in that time, would dress the deceased for the funeral. Like they would pick out like the outfit. And he insists that he's gonna do that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. And
also it's like your loved one, so you'd think that you wouldn't.
Yeah. But yeah. So he chooses a high-necked dress with a very stiff collar, and he carefully arranges a veil over her face. While at the funeral, Trout got even more over the top. He wouldn't leave the side of the coffin and would constantly be fussing with Zona's body, like adjusting the veil to make sure her face was covered. He wouldn't let people get too close. And like the collar on her dress, he made sure that it was like very much like in place. So after the funeral, Mary Jane, Zona's mother, couldn't shake this feeling that Trout had something to do with Zona's death. However, without evidence and with Dr. Knapp's vague diagnosis, there wasn't much she could really do. So Mary Jane did what she felt would help her as a grieving mother. She prayed. And she would pray for answers, for clarity, and for some kind of sign. And then according to her, Zona came to her.
That's so cool.
Okay, so over the course of 4 nights, Mary Jane Heaster experienced dreams, or what she firmly believes were visitations. And this was from her daughter Zona's ghost. So, according to Mary Jane, the dreams were so vivid and detailed that they felt more like real-life encounters than anything her imagination could come up with. In these dreams, Zona appeared to her mother with a calm yet sad demeanor. She was dressed in the same... I just gave myself chill. I hate when that happens.
Spooked yourself?
Yeah, I scared myself.
It's like you know what you're reading, but you're like,
why is this a surprise? I wrote this. So
funny.
So Zona appeared to her mother. She was dressed in the same high-necked dress that she had been buried in. And Mary Jane described how Zona's spirit would sit at the edge of her bed and speak to her in a voice that was both familiar and haunting. Zona revealed to her mother in many of the dreams a horrifying secret. Her death had not been an accident, nor the result of this bullshit everlasting faint. She told Mary Jane that her husband, Trout Shue, had murdered her. He had gone into a violent rage one evening because she hadn't prepared meat for dinner. I was like, Postmates, get over it.
I know.
So this just kind of spoke, though, to there was probably more abuse going on in the house.
For sure.
Yeah. So this wasn't like a one-time thing. This was clear.
Yeah. If you're murdering someone over meat not being prepared.
Yeah. Get over it.
Seriously.
Zona's ghost recounted her final moments. She described how Trout had attacked her. He grabbed her by the throat. His hands were tightening around her neck, and all she saw was rage in his eyes. She said that his eyes didn't look human. Yeah. Zona explained that she had struggled, but Trout was unrelenting. It was clear that she was going to die.
Yeah.
He strangled her until her life completely slipped away. You're not going to like this part.
Why?
So, to ensure that her mother understood the full horror of what had happened, every time Mary Jane had dreams of Zona, Zona's ghost would stand up and start to walk away. Only then she would turn her head completely
my
around.
God. Why would she do that to her mom?
I
know. Come on.
Maybe she said her hair looked dry.
True.
Personal moment. Sorry. So.
Oh my God.
So she would turn her head completely around to show that her neck had been broken. Like, believe me now.
I get it.
Yeah. One time was enough. Ew. It's like spitting.
Believe me now. She takes off like a helicopter.
What were those like toys, those little fairy things?
The spinning ones?
Yeah.
That's what she was.
She whirs off into the space.
I'll tell my story yet?
Tell it. So
tell it or the head keeps spinning.
I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
From all angles.
I hope she comes to you tonight.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so night after night for 4 nights in a row, Zona's ghost visited her mother, and she repeated the same story in painstaking detail. Mary Jane awoke each morning shaken, but she was more certain than ever that these weren't just dreams. She believed with every fiber of her being that her daughter's spirit was crying out for justice, and it was demanding action to expose the truth about her death. So Mary Jane could no longer ignore what she had seen and heard, and she took these dreams as a message that remember, she was praying, so she took this as like a divine message, as this was real, this was what happened. And she decided to act on them. So she is fueled by these insane dreams of Zona's ghost, and she took her suspicions to the local prosecutor, John Preston. Thank you for having a really easy to pronounce name. Shout out, John. Appreciate you. So, and she begs him to reopen the case. And at first, he was really skeptical. I mean, somebody's coming to you that is saying a ghost is, you know what I mean?
It's a little different.
Yeah. And like you said, even in the 1970s, people were pretty skeptical. This was the 1800s. Yeah. 1890s. So he's real skeptic. But Mary Jane was relentless, and she had this conviction and just uncanny details she shared with Preston, and he finally decided to have Zona's body exhumed for a proper investigation. And so this happened a little over a month after the death. So we're in February 1897. So when Zona's body was examined after it was exhumed, the findings were shocking. The autopsy revealed that her neck had been broken, her windpipe was crushed, and there were clear finger-shaped bruises on her throat. The ligaments in her neck were torn, all consistent with strangulation, which is now undeniable. She didn't die of everlasting fate. She had been murdered. Everlasting Fate also kind of sounds like a really bad like dating show. Don't you think?
Faint, like oh. Like you're just like blown away
yeah,
by the love.
Yeah. Anyways. So with the new evidence, investigators turned their attention to the most obvious suspect, Trout Shue. And his behavior after Zona's death had already raised eyebrows, but now there are inconsistencies in his story. So initially, Trout had claimed that Zona must have fallen down the stairs and died from the fall. But later he contradicts himself because he says he wasn't even home when she died. Because remember, the boy found her. So, like,
yeah,
you just, yeah.
You just messed
nothing's
up your own
adding
story.
up. Yeah. So when investigators confronted Trout with the autopsy findings and told him that Zona had been strangled, he goes, "I didn't do it." Which, like,
sounds like somebody that did it.
Sounds like somebody that did it. Like, let's go ahead and point the fingers over to Mr. Trout.
It's like, it wasn't me. It was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, nobody said you did. Classic guilty behavior.
Right.
So the investigation continues, and now they start to find more shady stuff from Trout's past. And it turns out that he had also been married twice before. His first wife divorced him because he was physically abusive, and she said to a unlimited amount of cruelty she would face from him.
Dang.
Yeah. His second wife died under mysterious circumstances. My guess.
What? Everlasting faint?
Everlasting faint.
Dang.
Okay, so they do arrest him, and he is charged with the murder of Zona. It's just like, you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So Trout's trial began in June 1897.
Trout's trial.
I know. That kind of made me giggle. Just imagine a fish on the stand.
You know how they have those, like, illustrators in the courtroom?
They just draw.
So funny.
I always thought you might have said the singing, like, trout that goes on the wall. And he just sings, "I didn't do it," over and over.
It wasn't me.
He sings "I Wasn't Me" by Shaggy. Bleeding at the bottom of the stairs wasn't me. Okay, so the trial begins in June of 1897, and it is the town spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
So the courthouse gets packed with locals. They're all just like, this would be us. They're all just eager to hear all of the, like, gory and shocking details of the case.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this combination of obviously the brutal murder in this town that is, we talk about this time and time again, but this town that's not used to these things happening.
Yeah.
And the husband, and then also with the mix of the ghostly testimony, this is the talk of the town. So the prosecution presents all of the obviously damning physical evidence uncovered during Zona's autopsy: her broken neck, the crushed windpipe, and the bruises that probably were, like, perfect. Like, they probably were just like, "Hey, Trout, you want to just maybe put your hands here real quick and see if it lines up?" Yeah. So they have all of that physical evidence, but what was the most captivating to the courtroom was Mary Jane's testimony. And on the witness stand, so now instead of drawing her, they draw a ghost little emoji.
Like the most interesting trial of all time.
Seriously.
A trout, a ghost.
On the witness stand, Mary Jane calmly and confidently recounted her dreams, where the dreams where Zona's ghost had appeared and revealed the truth about her death. She described Zona's visits in vivid detail, including how her daughter had shown her broken neck and how it ultimately matched the autopsy findings. The defense, Nope. The defense, who was desperate to discredit Mary Jane, tried to paint her as like a town kook, that she was just like she was desperately reaching for answers, but that didn't waver Mary Jane. She stood firm and insisted that what she had experienced was real and that her daughter's spirit had come to her in order to demand justice. And people loved it. They would have easily 5 stars if this was a podcast. Oh, it is a podcast. We're podcasting right now. Give us 5 stars.
We'll take the 5 stars.
Yeah. But so the combination of Mary Jane's testimony, the physical evidence, and then Trout being a sussy bitch, and over the top behavior painted a clear picture of guilt. The trial only lasted a few days, and it took the jury barely an hour to reach their verdict.
Dang.
So, what do you think it was?
I think Trout lost.
Guilty. Yeah. Guilty as fuck. He was sentenced to life in prison, but he died just a few years later under very mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious. Everlasting fate.
Maybe. So, what made me really excited to tell you this story is because the Greenbrier Ghost case, and that's the official title of it, is one of the most extraordinary legal stories in American history. Ultimately, the physical evidence was what secured Trout's conviction, but this is the first time in U.S. history where a ghost's testimony was used as evidence.
That's so cool.
I know.
That's crazy. I wonder if there's more. Because I know they said the first case. Did you see anything?
They've used some stuff for like the Salem witch trials. But this is the only one that I could find that was like
literal ghost.
They literally used it as like a testimony.
That's crazy.
Nuts,
that's so
right?
cool though.
So that is the story of the Greenbrier Ghost, Elva Zona Heister, who was one badass ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, sad. Well, I don't want to say sad. Maybe it was kind of relieving for her mom. But after the conviction, Zona stopped visiting Mary Jane. And so it was like...
She probably moved on.
Yeah. Like she had done what she needed to do. And her mom was able to give her like final rest.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was such a good story.
Thanks.
That was wild.
Isn't it wild?
It is. It's crazy that it was like the 1800s too. Because I feel like back then it's probably hard to have evidence in general. So she was like, I'm going to make sure this guy rots in jail.
And I'm not only going to make sure he rots in jail, but I'm going to go down in freaking history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I hope she haunted him a little bit.
In
the jail cell.
Yeah, maybe she killed him.
You never know. I feel like maybe she was ghost level 1,000.
Yeah.
She was strangling him.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that because I was like, what level ghost do you have to be able to like turn your head around? But then I was like, well, they don't have any bones, so probably pretty entry level.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, not to like discredit her because... But yeah.
Maybe she just, because she was so like frustrated or like maybe like such an overpowering emotion, she just skipped all the levels.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that can happen.
Yeah.
Like unfinished business.
She's like, screw your system.
Throw it on the ground.
I'm not a part of your system. But yeah, I was really excited to tell you that one.
I understand why now. It was awesome.
Yay.
And it was not overhyped. Like, we were like
Okay.
worried about it.
Yeah, I
No,
was like,
loved
maybe
it.
I've been talking this one up too much.
This is, probably one of my favorites now.
Really?
Yeah. I loved it.
Yay.
But yeah, great story.
Thanks, you too.
Oh, thanks. So if anyone has any scary stories to tell us, send it to Hit it. Just kidding.
Hit it, sister. IGSTTY stories@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at IGSTTY pod.
And we're also on YouTube now, too.
We are on YouTube.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Our stories, like the videos aren't up to date, but we post a ton of shorts on there. So
yeah, you guys can
check it out.
You can actually see our real life faces.
Yeah.
Tell me if my hair is dry.
You want to explain?
Not really.
Okay. And also don't forget to subscribe to us and rate our show because that helps a lot.
Yes. Subscribe. Tell your friends.
Repost. Do all the things.
Do all the things. All right.
Okay, well, thanks for listening.
Later.